In the previous class, we have learned till as wind falls. So remember, the boy flying a kite, it is bright on the blue, means it's bright on the blue sky. And it's new. Remember, it's a kite when it's new. A new kite is mentioned here with a dive and a dip. It's the movement of the kite. It's the movement of the kite. Dive and a dip. At first it goes down. It doesn't go high up. It doesn't soar up. It doesn't soar up. Why? Because it's new and the boy tries to fly a kite for the first time. So with a dive and a dip, actually it is coming down. It snaps its tail. It snaps its tail means the cracking sound that it makes, the thread makes while going up. Then soars like a ship. It is compared to a ship, I told. It's simile, like a ship, I've told you to mark. It is compared to a ship moving through the tides, the waves, with the strong currents, with only a sail. And you can see in the picture how the ship sails through water, just like that. With the wind, the kite flies. As over tides of wind it rides. So just as the ship moves through the tides, it rides. So as over tides also simile. Whenever something is compared to some other thing using like or as, it is simile, I told. So like a ship, as over tides, please underline. Of wind it rides. It goes up, climbs to the crest. Crest means the top portion of a gust and pulls. Gust is a strong wind and pulls. Then seems to rest as wind falls. When the wind stops, when the wind is less, when the breeze is less, it stops. It seems to take rest. So shall we continue with the poem? Listen. When the string goes slack, when the string goes slack, slack means loosens. Loosens. When the string goes slack, you wind it back. Imagine you are rolling it, moving it forward, trying to fly the kite, and when the string goes slack, when the string is loose, that means there is no wind to take the kite up. So what you do is that you wind it back. W-I-N-D is winding it back. You wind it back and run until a new breeze blows. And run until a new breeze blows. Breeze here means a gentle wind. Breeze here means a gentle wind. Breeze. A cool breeze. And run until a new breeze blows. So till that time it takes rest, and when again the breeze comes, a new breeze blows, it goes up. It is taken up. Then you have to use the string. You should have good practice in maintaining the string, okay? You might have seen elders doing that. So what you do is that you take the kite, you make a kite. There is an activity here at the end of the poem. You have to make a kite using color papers or newspaper. You can make your own design. And using the string, you should go to a playground, and with the help of your elders, your siblings, your elder brother or sister or friend or father or mother, try to fly the kite. But you should have good practice in maintaining the string. Okay, remember. So wear proper gloves also. Otherwise your little fingers might get hurt. Okay, so be careful. So as its wings fill and up it goes. So the wings here means the wings of the kite gets filled by air, the breeze, and up it goes. So you can imagine how the boy is trying to fly the kite. A picture is given. You can see pictures of different kites, how it goes up when it gets filled with breeze, wind. How bright on the blue, again, how bright on the blue. That line is repeated, how bright on the blue. So you can write here another poetic device, repetition. What is that? Repeating the lines. Repetition. Can be repetition. Repeating the lines or repeating the words again and again by the poet. That poetic device is called repetition. And how bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. Again the line is repeated. See? How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. But a raggeder thing. What is the meaning of raggeder? It's all tone now. So totally it is different. See, at the beginning of the poem, you can see the beauty of the kite. As the poet mentions, it's new. So new things are always beautiful, no? You like to admire the beauty of new things. But when you use it for a long time, when you use it for a while, it becomes a raggeder thing. It's all tone. Raggeder means tone. Ugly. Untidy it looks. Or entangled. Why? Using it for a long time makes it entangled. See, when you fly the kite for a long time, it gets entangled on a tree and the string breaks and you won't be able to take the kite. You need somebody's help to take it out. So, but a raggeder thing you never will see. You never will have seen such a raggeder thing after that. Means that much ugly or torn it looks. When it flaps on a string. Flaps means flutters. That is the movement of the kite. Flutters. F-L-U-T-T-E-R-S. Flutters. When it flaps on a string, you can see in the top of the tree, it just flutters. It cannot fly high up. Why? It is all torn and it is in a bad shape now. When it flaps on a string in the top of a tree. So I'll read once again. When string goes slack, slack means loosens, you wind it back. When there is less air, when there is less wind or breeze, you try to wind it back, roll it back. You should have good practice for that, rolling it back and then moving forward, then unwinding it, all that, and run until a new breeze blows. Breeze means gentle wind. And its wings fill. Its wings means the kite's wings fill. And up it goes. And then again when the air gets filled, it again goes up. How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. The poet repeats the same line, first and second line again. So that is repetition. But a raggeder thing. It's all torn, ugly, untidy, entangled, high up on a tree. You never will see. You never will have seen such an untidy or entangled or ugly thing, all torn, when it flaps on a string in the top of a tree. Flaps here means flutters, the movement of the kite. So I'll read the poem once again. How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. With a dive and a dip, it snaps its tail, then soars like a ship with only a sail. As over tides of wind it rides, climbs to the crest of a gust and pulls, then seems to rest as wind falls. When string goes slack, you wind it back and run until a new breeze blows. And its wings fill and up it goes. How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. But a raggeder thing you never will see. When it flaps on a string in the top of a tree. I hope you all have understood the poem. So now let us mark the rhyming words. I hope you all have underlined the new words and written the meaning of those words. Dive and dip and all I told. Snaps. Then soars. Gust. Tides. Crest. Hope you all have understood those words, the meanings of those words. You have underlined the words and written the meanings. Now let us go on to the rhyming words. Blue and new. Blue and new. Please underline. Blue and new. Dip and ship. Rhyming words. Blue and new. What are rhyming words? Words that end with the same sounds. Why does the poet use rhyming words? In order to give that musical effect. In order to give musical effect to poetry, the poets use rhyming words. So you can sing like a song. Blue and new, dip and ship, tail and sail. Are you all marking? Tail and sail, tides and rides, tides and rides, crest and rest, crest and rest, slack and back, slack and back. I'll repeat once again. Blue and new. You have to pronounce the words likewise. Understood? In order to give that musical effect. Blue and new, dip and ship, tail and sail, tides and rides, crest and rest, slack and back, until fill, until fill, blows and goes, blows and goes. Then again, blue and new, thing and string. Thing, your tongue should touch the upper part of your mouth. Thing and string. And sea and tree. Understood? I'll repeat once again. Slack, back, until fill, blows, goes, blue, new, thing, string, sea and tree. So these are the rhyming words. Now let us go on to the poetic device once again. I told the poetic devices mentioned are, one is simile. S-I-M-I-L-E. Simile. S-I-M-I-L-E. Comparing things. You compare two things. Comparing using like and as. Like, as. Comparing using like and as. Okay? Comparing using like and as. Now the second one is repetition. I told repetition. You can see the word and repeated. And again repeated. And its wings fill. And up it goes. Can you see the and being repeated? And the lines being repeated. How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. Lines are repeated. Words are repeated. So repetition of words or lines. Repetition of words. Of words or lines. Means poetic device repetition. Now next one is alliteration. What is alliteration? Third poetic device is alliteration. Okay? Alliteration. A-L-L-I-T-E-R-A-T-I-O-N. Alliteration. So alliteration is the repetition of the same sound in the nearby words. See the repetition of burr sound in breeze and blows. See the repetition of burr sound in breeze and blows. Underline that. A new breeze blows. Did you see that line? A new breeze blows. That burr sound. Write B and put slash on both sides. A new breeze blows. That repetition of burr sound is called alliteration. So, now which are the poetic devices used by the poet? One is simile, second is repetition, third is alliteration. So shall we read the poem once again? All of us like to fly kites. Have you ever tried to fly one? Read this poem about a kite as it flies in the sky. How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. With a dive and a dip, it snaps its tail, then soars like a ship with only a sail. As over tides of wind, it rides, climbs to the crest of a gust and pulls, then seems to rest as wind falls. When string goes slack, you wind it back and run until a new breeze blows, and its wings fill, and up it goes. How beautiful, how bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. But a raggeder thing you never will see when it flaps on a string in the top of a tree. So comparison between a beautiful thing and an ugly thing later. So our life is also like that. When we are small, when men are your age, you are full of energy, you look very beautiful, but in old age we look ugly. We won't be having much strength and energy to not run around. Understood? So it's a comparison between a beautiful thing and an ugly thing. Beautiful thing, very young. Ugly thing, very old, all torn. So I hope all of you have understood. And please mark the poetic devices simile. Simile, please underline once again. See whether you have underlined. Like a ship, as over tides, as wind falls. Have you all underlined? As and like you use for simile. Repetition, words being repeated, and its wings fill, and up it goes, and being repeated, and repetition of the line. How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new, towards the beginning and towards the end. Can you see? The lines being repeated, the words being repeated, and alliteration. What is alliteration? The third poetic device that we have learned is alliteration, repetition of sounds in consecutive words. I told a new breeze blows, repetition of burst sound. Repetition of burst sound. A new breeze blows, repetition of burst sound, that is alliteration. So I'll repeat once again. The poetic devices used are simile, comparing using like or as, repetition of words or lines. I told repetition of words as in and its wings fill, and up it goes. Repetition of word and. Repetition of lines towards the beginning. How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. Those lines are being repeated towards the end of the poem. How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. Then again the poet says those lines once again in order for the reader to feel the effect that now it is no more beautiful. It looks ugly. Raggeder thing it looks. But a raggeder thing you never will see when it flaps on a string in the top of a tree. Now it's all torn, it's untidy, it looks entangled, it flutters on a string in the top of a tree. So shall I read the poem once again? How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. With a dive and a dip, I told the movement of the kite. The poet writes about the movement of the kite. It snaps its tail. Snapping means making a cracking noise and going up. It's the first time he's trying to fly the kite. Then soars like a ship with only a sail. Soars means goes up, goes up. I hope you all have underlined and written the meaning of words in the previous class. Then soars like a ship. It's compared to a ship that moves through strong currents. You can see in the picture how the ship moves through the strong currents and how the kite moves up in the sky with the strong wind or with the breeze. With only a sail. Here the ship is having sail. So the sail gets filled with air and that takes the ship forward. Just like that, the kite gets filled by breeze or air and it is soaring high up in the sky. With only a sail, as over tides of wind it rides. So just as it goes over tides, the ship moves over tides of wind, the kite soars up through the wind is taking the kite up. Climbs to the crest. Crest means top of anything, of a gust and pulls, then seems to rest as wind falls. There is no breeze, there is no wind. When string goes slack, you wind it back. Slack means loosens. You call a shirt slack, means this part, the sleeve of the shirt will be loose. Slack loosens. Here the slack is the loose kite, the string of the kite, the loose string of the kite. You wind it back, then you wind it back. You pull it back, you try to wind it back. There will be a rod, there will be a wooden rod to which you wind and unwind the string, right? You wind it back and run until a new breeze blows. So you'll have to wait till the next breeze or wind comes. And its wings fill and up it goes. Then again its wings get filled with air and it is taken up. How bright on the blue is a kite when it's new. But a raggeder thing, raggeder. R is silent, raggeder. The ending R is silent, raggeder thing. You never will see. When it flaps on a string in the top of a tree. Flaps means flutters. The movement of the kite after getting torn, it is getting stuck on a tree top, on a string in the top of a tree. Remember the poetic devices. Now let us go on to the next page. Next page, you please take working with the palm. Working with the palm. Working with the palm. So I've written all the new words here. Bright means vibrant. I'll read once again. Blue means the blue sky. Dive means come down. Dip means bend. I'll repeat. Bright means vibrant. Blue here means the blue sky. Dive, come down. Dip, bend, B-E-N-D. Snaps, a cracking sound that it makes. Soars, goes up. Tail, here the thread. Tides, the moving water current. The moving current of water through which the ship sails. Crest, the top of something. Gust, the sudden rush of wind. Pulls, drives forward. Slack, loosens. Wind, roll it back. Breeze, gentle wind. Raggeder, ugly, torn, entangled. Flaps, flutters. Rhyming words, blue and new, dip and ship, tail and sail, tides and rides, crest and rest, pulls and falls, slack and back, until. You can write it later because you can't write it now. You can't be in a hurry. I'll send all this. You need not worry. Or you can later hear and mark it. Don't write anything now, just listen. Slack and back, until and fill, blows and goes, sea and tree. The poetic devices used. Simile, comparing one thing with another. Repetition, using the same words or the same lines again and again. Alliteration, the words close by begin with the same sound. A new breeze blows. Repetition of burr sound. Now, what are action words, children? What are action words called? Verbs. You call verbs are action words. Doing words. Doing words. What you do. Action words, doing words. You might have learned that in your lower classes. Verbs are action words or doing words. Some important verbs mentioned in the poem are dive, dip. In your text it is there. Few words are already given and you are asked to fill up the blanks using more of doing words from the poem. Dive, dip, snaps. These three words are given. You have to complete that exercise using more of verbs or action words or doing words from the poem that you have learned now, the kite. So I am going to make you do that. Dive, dip, snaps, sows, rides, climbs, pulls, falls, runs, blows, goes, flaps. I'll repeat. Dive, dip, snaps, sows, rides, climbs, pulls, falls, runs, blows, goes, flaps. These are verbs, action words or doing words. What you do, what things do, what people do, what animals do. Children, you have to find out the meaning of these words that I have mentioned now. You open your dictionary. You all might be having a dictionary at home, a pocket dictionary. Open and find out the meaning of words. That is assignment 1. Assignment 1 is finding the meaning of words. Find out the meaning of the above words and write in your notebook. Find the meaning of the words given, action words given, and write in your notebook. So you have to write verbs or action words or doing words, then mention the verbs, then write the meanings.